City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract from the City of Ashland and BLK Construction LLC for all labor and materials for miscellaneous concrete and asphalt repair work for the Department of Public Services and Utilities through July 31, 2022, in the amount of $898,645.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to accept the proposal of prom coatings and restorations in an amount not to exceed $15,900 to provide exterior inspection services for the DeBoer Hill tank located at 900 Kilgore Drive for the Department of Utilities.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, amending ordinance number 169, series of 1995, as previously amended, commonly referred to as the stop sign ordinance, authorizing the placement of stop signs eastbound on Central Avenue at its intersection with 23rd Street on the north and south sides of Central Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Service Pump and Supply Inc. in the amount of $102,346.80 for the purchase and installation of 8 slurry pumps and motors for the Department of Utilities Division of Water Treatment Plant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item F, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Rumpke, Kentucky Inc. to provide a public drop box recycling service for a period of 3 years in the amount of $183 per box per month to be emptied a minimum of 2 times per week for the Department of Public Services Division of Sanitation.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Highways, and the City of Ashland for the administration of an encroachment permit for a fiber optic cable installation within the Greenup Avenue US 23 right-of-way.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item H, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Bryden Company, providing all labor, material, equipment, supervision, tools, and performing all work and services for roof replacement at the city building located at 1700 Greenup Avenue in the amount of $89,700 for the Department of Public Services.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
When will they start on this? As soon as we approve it?
I think we had a pretty short, Susan, were you tracking that from Lawrence? It was a pretty short time frame, and the importance of doing this quickly was materials that they had on hand and for us to lose it. So I think there's a big sense of urgency to get it done quickly, and I think Brian's in the same boat with us.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
New business. Item A, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, approving and adopting the 2021-2022 budget and appropriating revenues on hand to be received during the year 2021 to 2022 for the payment of expenses of the City of Ashland for the 12-month period beginning July 1, 2021 and ending June 30, 2022, and repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith.
Amen.
Is that the second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion?
I have just if this is appropriate here. I know we had our public budget work session yesterday, and we went through this, and it's fabulous. And I think what staff, thank you, finance and department heads have put together is a good budget. I think we get a lot of money out to the public for services that they need and things that they can see. One of the things that I always do in a work session that I did not do yesterday, and I apologize, City Manager, usually we have the opportunity to talk with each of the department heads about their particular budget, and if there was something that for many, many years, we would hear from department heads that there were particular things that were not approved in the budget that could have helped us along the way. And so I've always tried to ask at some point during the budget process, is there something not in this budget that is detrimental to your department? And I didn't do that yesterday, and I don't know if...
Well, I'll give the staff a second to think.
Sorry, guys.
From my perspective and what I understand on the budget worksheets and what I had discussed in conversations with Tony and Michelle on our follow-ons, from my foxhole, I think everything was good. I don't think there's any outstanding issues, but Steve?
You're up first.
Great. And I noticed you didn't wait on me to show up before you started like you did this week the last time. So, I take note of that.
Steve, 2 days in a row, you were really.
We gotta look at this for sure.
I guess my statement would be, it is going to be a challenge for the engineering department implementing such a large magnitude.
Put quite a lot on
A
you.
number of projects that have never been undertaken to this magnitude, at least in recent years, as best I can tell. We are down one staff person right now, a pretty significant and major staff person, and I appreciate you all agreeing to adjust the job description for that individual. I think that would go a long way toward us being able to accomplish these in a much better fashion. However, from just the perspective of the sheer number of projects and the number of staff that are going to be available, not only doing these new projects, but just taking care of the normal business that occurs with the city throughout the year, it's going to be a challenge. So, I mean, I present that just as information that it's going to be a challenge, and if at some point it seems that we're placing ourselves within the engineering department in a position where we're going to start falling behind for observations of projects and assuring that the quality is there, I would like to reserve the request to come back to the commission and present that to the commission and allow them to evaluate that at that time. So that may likely happen. I don't know yet. I mean, our staff that we have is very competent and
Well, Steve, are you down a person because of the COVID, and you're gonna rehire this person, or what?
yes, because each department had to undertake a certain level of staff reductions. And so we have been one person, but we're now in a position to go out and advertise for a new position to fill that. So that will place us back at the normal level of staff positions in engineering. But just recognizing that we're undertaking.
This is why I always ask, so that later on I told you, I'm giving you your out.
Yeah, I do want to clarify something, Commissioner, that Steve mentioned that position that he's talking about was upgraded from a 112 to a 113, which increased the educational requirements that Steve thinks is going to be able to help him if he gets the right person to review plans, etc. So he's thinking succession plan, if I could.
Thank you,
We
Steve.
want that too.
Would it help if Connie brought you a can of Red Bull up every day?
You know, Red Bull, I used that previously in a circumstance where I was having to work 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week without breaks. And I broke out from Red Bull. So evidently I'm allergic to Red Bull, so please don't bring any Red Bull.
Is that number
Well,
2 dollars?
so and just because we approve, that's why I keep thinking different things when we do things. So like, just because we approve these positions and we're all happy about that, I know for my job, that doesn't mean anything, because you may not, God knows if you can find a person for the position. That's the next part for everybody, all the departments. And also, as exciting as it was to talk through that budget, and it really was, in my mind, I'm thinking, in my job, like, okay, I'm thinking probably what you are probably thinking now about how all these projects are going to be scheduled out, and that's what I kept thinking about. I was like, wow, it's going to be quite the task to schedule all of this, and we use Gantt charts and things like that in my job, but that's definitely a consideration of how the execution of all this is going to happen for sure.
Steve did say he was bored last year, so he's pretty.
Careful what you wish for.
And I'll speak to this. Yesterday in our meeting, Michelle Beach brought up an important point to this, is that this money doesn't have to be spent all in 1 year. So we have flexibility there to continue to work on these projects as needed. I think an ambitious budget is something we wanted to do to set the table for our expectations as a board, and I think it's critical for the communication flow to come back and forth with engineering, and actually, honestly, with all of the department heads. You know, I think that's one thing that I've enjoyed most about the team we have, is there is a lot of back and forth. You all aren't afraid to come to us with concerns, and we appreciate that level of trust that we need to do our job and to allow you to do yours. So I appreciate that, Steve.
Are we at the right step to talk through different items?
We were going through the department heads right this second.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Please proceed.
Greg.
I can't think of anything detrimental. I mean, this budget has allowed us to get back to full staff, which is greatly appreciated. And a lot of small projects that we've kind of kicked the can down the road for several years, be able to get some things done that would help us. So, I can't think of nothing. I mean, sure, if you got more money to get to me, I'll take it. I'm happy to spend it. But this budget will allow us to do several things.
Great.
Sean?
Just mirroring Greg Ray, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for what you guys did. And Tony and Michelle, I know how hard it was to fit all that in too. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks. Wow, how nice.
Sean, we had talked in the orientation, and I just thought about this literally this morning, because I try to keep a running list of just different things we talked through about the HR software, and I know how valuable the process, and we're talking about adding positions and things like that, that can get to be a major task. And I know that, wasn't it Kronos that we had talked about?
Yes, yes.
And I think we had taken like the first step of looking at it, and so I thought about that, and then like I said, it's, I'm just throwing it out there for you all to consider. I think what we're saying is, you need something, yell for it, and in my world, you don't yell for it, and then you say you didn't get the budget for it, it's not going to be a fun conversation. So yeah, I was thinking about that, and any kind of employee training, that we might look at, like any kind of matrix that we might look at, or anything like that. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, guys.
well, I'm asking you if you want to do
You're very, very great. Absolutely. We're not going to say no. In the meantime, when there's something that needs to be put on hold, we adapt. And so what we're doing at this point is we're reaching out, we're trying to develop programs in-house that are going to accomplish these same goals. But I'll definitely put those requests in and relook at that. So I appreciate the opportunity.
But the Kronos does have, Commissioner Blanton's, Kronos does have the ability to master track training, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Jack?
Just mirroring what Dave already said, I'm glad we're getting back at full staff. That helps us out a lot. Increase the funds in some of the line items we asked for. It's going to be a busy year, exciting times this year.
Yeah.
Tony?
No.
Yeah, you're good.
Michelle?
They would rather not talk about the budget anymore.
Just come on.
Fried, brain fried. Me?
Yep.
No, I just wanna say that I agree, Tony said it yesterday, Commissioner Clark said it this morning, I mean, I feel this is a good budget. We're sitting here at this point, we're talking about this being an aggressive budget, you know, as far as engineering and utilities is concerned. I like to have this discussion versus the opposite. The fact that we're sitting in here wringing our hands, not having any money to do the things that we need to do. So, being on that side of it is a good thing. We all know that this is a significant amount of work that we're going to undertake in utilities. One thing that I do want to mention that I'm thankful for before I even get into that was the COLA is important to our employees, and I want to thank you guys for making that happen. That's a great thing as far as I'm concerned. But as far as utilities, one thing I wanted to mention too is the amount of work that we're going to be able to do in sewer collection is extremely aggressive. We're going to be doing that with our guys, and that goes from a budget of basically zero last year of doing those types of things. So we're excited, and they're actually excited to be able to get out and work on some of the things that they know needs to be replaced. That includes, you know, full out line replacement, and also another set of aggressive sewer line projects that we'll have going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, in water line replacements, there's a lot to be done. We feel the way we've handled this is a multifaceted approach where we typically take a portion of those projects and contract them out. Like this year, we're talking about Belmont Street is going to be one of our large jobs. Then we have all those smaller or other jobs that we attack. One thing I wanted to mention about those jobs, and Steve and the city manager could also comment on this, was we have a list of these water lines that we want to attack, and we have them prioritized. And sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those priorities change every year. So when you see a list of names of water lines, and you see these 4 or 5 names that we're going to attack, don't be surprised if another one pops up the list for some reason. So, and we've had that happen the past 2 years that I've been in here. So I want to just state that. The only thing that I was that caught. I think our funding is great in utilities. The only concern that I had was with regard to meters, and I think that we can handle that based on we have some money left in metering for water meters right now. We're going to try to extend that, and we should be able to cover the delta between what we requested for the upcoming budget and what was actually granted. But that's my only minor concern. And knowing that we have the money still available in the current budget, if we can pull that off, we're good to go. But I still need to probably speak to finance more about that. But overall, I guess my general comment is it's aggressive, but I'm thankful to be in this situation versus the exact opposite.
Thanks, Mark. Todd?
First of all, for the first time since 1992, we have increased the size of the police department. We were at 56. We're currently at 48. With the 2 additions, that gets us back up to, and it gets us in a direction of where we need to go based on the times that we live in today. I cannot thank you on behalf of the department to going forward and trying to increase the size of the department to change or impact the quality of life in our community. Safety is paramount. Tony and Michelle and I, we've talked about it for years, and I can't thank them enough for keeping that on the radar. With what we're about to go through probably over the next year or so with mandate, law changes, reforms, nothing that I submitted took a hit. That is going to call for probably quantity or masses of training because of changes or requirements in the laws. Operationally, the police department is unpredictable. I could put that number out there and we have a bad year and it costs us a lot, in operation costs. But I cannot see anything right now that took a hit, and I think we're going in the right direction. We're saving money with the cars and the way we're operating them now. Some of the budget does reflect that savings, and again, the increase in salaries is paramount, especially in law enforcement. It's challenges across the United States on who makes more, who makes the most, but it does have an impact right now in our times based on applicants, retention, and we put a lot of time and effort and cash basically into employing an officer for a career, and we want them to stay with us. So I cannot see anything right now that is a negative, and again, we thank you for that increase, and we're probably going to ask for more, but that's the direction the department needs to go.
Michelle, anything? Susan?
Well, I had this seminar in Hawaii that I was. Other than that, I'm good.
You need personal security?
I just want to say, I think it's such a great budget, and it's also exciting because we are getting to do, I should say, some things using this money in the best way possible for the benefit of our citizens. And it's exciting that we're going to see tangible things happen that we've all been wanting. So, again, I sent Michelle and Tony a note last night. They did a brilliant job, and and your whole department, I appreciate that. I hope we'll pass that along to all of us. We will.
One more quick thing. I also want to thank everyone involved for getting us back to full staff. That is, we're excited about that. We're going to be able to really move out when we get those positions filled. So thank you all for making it happen. Also, one last thing, we're talking about meters. There's already a lot of stuff going on with regard to meters. We're in the process of changing out some of the larger meters, which we think are going to be a positive to the city. So I just wanted to mention that there's already some work being done in that regard. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other commissioners have any other questions?
Real quick, just talking to the police department as a whole, I just wanted to go on record and say I fully support you all, and it's been a learning experience since I've been here, but it's seeing you all in action has really, it's really helped my learning process. And we talk about a lot of progress things in the city. We're involved in a lot of that stuff, but the safety of our citizens and our officers is something that we're not going to compromise. So making sure we take care of that enables us to look at that progress. So that's the first thing. Second thing, so we have a utility discussion on Monday, I believe. So we'll be looking at that study. I think it's important that we consider what's said in that as well. Before, so this is our first reading, and then we'll have a second reading after that, or at some point we will. But yeah, just overall, it's a good time. I mean, it's a fun time to make a budget. It feels like, but you make smart decisions now for bad times later, right? So we will have leaner times at some point in the future. So the decisions now are fun and exciting, but they have to be smart as well, and I think they are.
And I'll echo Commissioner Bland's comments about leaner times. Those of us on this board have experienced that. And we have been, I think, very judicious in how we executed our previous budgets so that we can ensure the solvency of our city. And because of that, guidance from our finance department and the help of the federal government this year, we're able to move out on some projects that we've had to put on the back burner. And I am proud of this budget. In my opinion, this is the best budget we've ever been able to do in my tenure and as serving the public. And I am excited that we are going to be able to do the things that we promised our citizens we'd do for them. And I think moving forward, we're only able to do that because our finance team has worked closely with our department heads to gauge what they need so they can get their job done. And that's the kind of teamwork that we want for our city. And I'm proud of you all, and I thank you.
I'm starting to just maybe one year to get that quote.
Well, there will be people watching.
It's live.
I just want to echo those sentiments, but you know, when you hear people talk up here, they talk in the things that are near to their heart or their life experience. The Colonel always talks about foxholes and brings things up like that because it's fabric. I think you're coming from a church background or a team background. But I'm proud of this budget, but I'm also proud of our employees.
Yeah.
I'm proud. I think we have an all-star cast of you all. The department heads make this place go.
That's right.
There's a lot of criticism out there by the naysayers, and you know, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, every day I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing behind the scenes and the things that gets done. And so I think from an employee standpoint, you could have all the money in the world. Look at the Yankees. They suck, you know. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the right people in the right positions that do a job, an excellent job, it just won't work. And so I'm proud of the department heads and the way you do things in an excellent way, in a conscientious way. So that's my take.
Very good.
Any other discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, fixing the tax levy for the year 2021 payable in the year 2022 on the bank deposits franchise tax for revenue purposes by the City of Ashland.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, fixing the regulatory license fee at 4% of the gross receipts from the sale of alcoholic beverages in said city during the fiscal year July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2022, as authorized and imposed by Section 24 of Ordinance Number 8, Series of 2021, known and cited as the Alcohol Beverage Control Ordinance for the City of Ashland, such products be used to reimburse the city for expenses related to sale of alcoholic beverages therein.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
So
Just
this is,
a comment. Go ahead, no.
You please.
Just a comment, I think for the sake of the public, basically, everything else on this agenda, I think, is related to, we have to pass these things for budget purposes. It's not a new tax, just for clarification purposes, these are things that go through each year when we do the budget.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, that's all.
This one specifically is the 4% from Athens Special District for the regulatory fee, is that right?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, repealing ordinance number 169, series of 2018, which established guidelines and procedures for contributions by the City of Ashland.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, establishing premium rates for the City of Ashland, Kentucky medical care plan employees hired prior to July 1, 2020, a non-fire union, and repealing ordinance number 102, series of 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item F, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, establishing premium rates for the City of Ashland, Kentucky medical care plan employees hired after July 1, 2020, non-fire union, and repealing ordinance number 103, series of 2020.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, establishing premium rates for continued health coverage under COBRA, and repealing ordinance number 105, series of 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item H, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, adopting the City of Ashland, Kentucky medical care plan summary of benefits renewals for employee groups which establish health benefit plans for Anthem Health Plans Kentucky, Inc. for the City of Ashland health, dental, and vision insurance coverage for July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item I, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, amending Part 6 Benefits A Holidays of the Policies and Procedures Compensation Plan and Classification Plan as adopted for ordinance number 51, series of 2017, as previously amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Reading and adoption of a resolution entitled, a resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing a 3% increase for all members of the Policemen's and Firefighters Pension Fund to be paid from the general fund.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item K, reading and adoption of a resolution entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing a 3% increase for all members of the Utility Pension Fund to be paid from the Utility Fund.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to close this meeting out thanking Michelle and Susan for their hard work, staying late to make sure this meeting happened today. We appreciate you all so much, and everything you do for us, it means a lot. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.